He's angry about mortgages. It's Angry Mortgage. He's swearing. He's cursing loud. He's old. He's opinionated. And he's been doing this so damn long. This program is about mortgages, and this is mortgage advice, but the advice may not apply to your situation. Contact licensed mortgage professionals for specific recommendations before you make decisions about mortgages. You may not agree with Ron, but if you don't, he thinks you're wrong. Oh, and did we say there is a lot of swearing?
So what's the technical problem with a first-time buyer and new construction? Let's break it down. New construction, if you buy it, you're buying it before it's built, right?
Way in advance.
Way in advance.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's a house or a townhouse or semi, whatever, then you're probably about 18 months away from being able to move in when you put your deposit down. Okay. Now, if we're trying to figure out in big cities in Canada, what's the lowest cost option in big cities, because houses in Vancouver, Toronto, Calgary, even Montreal to a certain extent are expensive.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
To get your start on the property ladder for young people, that new home buyers, that would probably be a condo. Okay. But a new construction condo is 5 years. So now, let's face it. If you're a first-time home buyer,
What?
you probably want to move in right away, right?
I don't want to pay rent for another 5 years. Like, think about it. Imagine putting your down payment and then paying rent for another 5 years. That's just rude.
Okay, so right, okay. So then, but it gets better. There's more. Okay, so the average new construction project wants you to put for this purchase of a pre-construction home, which is going to be either 18 months or 5 years, maybe more. They want you to put like 15 or 20% down. But this program is really designed for people who are putting between 5 and 10% down. So how do we make that work? Yeah. Because here's the thing:
That's
if you're a builder, you want big deposits.
Of
from
course,
people,
yeah.
because that's going to be some of the money you use to build the building, right? You know. And by the way, I mean, your bank is a little nervous if everybody's only put 5% deposits, right? Like if you're building a $600 million condo tower and 500 million, 400 million, whatever it is, your bank's a little nervous if all your pre-sale buyers have only put 5% down.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, it's makes everybody a bit nervous. So they want bigger deposits, right? But then what sense does that make? So if you want to use this program to buy your new construction home, wait 5 years, and then you're gonna where are you gonna get the money for the deposit? Like, where are you gonna get the 15 or 20% deposit if you really only want to put 7% down payment?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna have to borrow that money somewhere wait for 5 years and then give it back. I mean, anyway,
That's complicated.
it's very fucked up. Yeah. So like, here's what happened when the government first thought this up. They went to CMHC themselves and said, so what would be the utilization of this, do you think? Like for people who are buying CMHC homes. And by the way, like it's all still very hard to do in very expensive cities. By the way, this program could sort of work in inexpensive places, less expensive places, like the prairies, right? You go Saskatchewan, Manitoba, out in Atlantic Canada, parts of Quebec, sure, could work, but not really in big cities. But the government asked CMHC, okay, if we did this 30-year thing, how many people could make use of it who are first-time homebuyers?
Yeah.
And their own estimates were between 3 and 6%, just for the reasons I gave you.
Wow.
Okay? So that's like over 90% no, aren't going to use it. Now, some people said, well, look, I mean, maybe builders will change. Maybe builders will find a way to offer this 5% deposit. Maybe. I don't know how, but maybe. And God bless if that happens. But there's other things, too. If you go from 25-year to 30-year amortization, your payment goes down a bit. Like maybe it goes down $100, $150. Your ability to qualify increases a bit. okay, because it's a longer term.
Yeah.
It's a longer amortization period, I should say. But during the first 5 years, if you select this, interest is much higher. Like if you spent the entire, because you're paying for that 5 years longer,
right?
You're paying a lot more interest. And most importantly, because you're lowering that payment. Remember, I said it goes down between anywhere from like $100, $150 a month. Go from 25 to 30. Most of that decrease was actually going to principal. It was going to pay the mortgage off.
Right.
So now you've got very little going to principal on a 30-year mortgage. So if you decided you wanted to buy a little condo, again, how the hell would you do it? You got to wait 5 years. But let's just imagine. So that's fine. Now you're starting a family and you want to sell the condo and move to something bigger. When you look at what you've paid off in your mortgage during the first 5 years,
it's like peanuts.
It's sweet fuck all. Okay. And you say to yourself, wow, this didn't work out anyway the way I thought it would.
Yeah.
So folks, I mean, at the end of the day, okay, it's not a bad idea.
If it works for you, it works.
But it's not a big deal at all.
Yeah.
Like it's the tiniest change you're going to make.
If you like the pod, well, don't just sit there. Go to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all the other ones and like the pod. And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep being angry at mortgages and swearing about mortgages. Angry Mortgage could use your support.